So we kick off this Raw on December 17th, 2001. They still have 2001 with how shitty all the food was and how no one wanted to go there. They have Matt Hardy chilling, eating some soup. He's hanging out for whatever reason at WWF New. They don't really explain that.
Instead of being at the show, he's gonna eat soup.
Biker Taker starts the show, which I'm ready. I'm fired up right at the beginning. I'm fired up. He's got rolling. It's going crazy. I'm glad that they still have this on the network too. So that's really cool. He starts the show. He's the hardcore champion. He's got the hardcore championship on the front of his bike. I'm like, this dude's the coolest wrestler.
I don't remember him doing that, but that was sick.
That's pretty sick.
I was like, where is the hardcore belt? And then he got up.
I remember when he would put the title around his neck, but I don't remember him putting it on the bike.
Yeah, the neck is legendary. Maybe I think because that was in the game too. He would put it around his neck when he was the champion.
Oh, that's probably why. Yeah.
But yeah, he put it on the front of the bike, and this is heel taker too. So like he is just beating the piss out of dudes. I mean, like he's just taking liberties. This rules. This is like
evil, bro.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite Biker Taker renditions. Is where like he was just beating him and breaks all people. So he's facing Jeff Hardy, who is God. When his music hit, man, it was just like every woman in the crowd just lost their mind. They were so ready for Jeff Hardy, man. It was crazy. What does Christina like Jeff Hardy?
I don't think she really cares.
She like Scream. I thought that was just like an innate thing.
Nah, she was like, Matt Hardy's the ugliest dude I've ever seen.
All right, well, Jeff Hardy didn't like that.
But she didn't really care about Jeff Hardy. She thinks
that's crazy because TNA used to do that all the time. Who wants to go backstage and meet Jeff Hardy?
Yeah, woo!
Loudest and rowdiest.
I would have too. Shit.
Jeff at this time looked like he was coming out of like Hot Topic or something.
Yeah, dude, he was. I mean, he was sexy as hell back then. Like it was crazy. He was definitely like the time. He was like basically, he was just the time turned into a person. He was 1999, 2000. Yeah, he was crazy. And then he would just jump off stuff. So like, what can you dislike about this guy?
So why? I know the thing is Matt is upset that Lita is hanging out with Jeff, but like why?
I think Matt just wanted to eat, and they were like, "Well, we have to wrestle," and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go do it."
Feuding at this. I think that Jeff and Matt were feuding at this point.
Yeah, I
couldn't remember what they were doing.
Yeah, this was one of those times where they remember when they like broke up the Hardys and then broke them up. At Vengeance, they did the Jeff versus Matt match with the Lita as special guest referee,
was that
and
what
then
this
Lita.
Was? Oh,
yeah,
right,
and then they got mad because like Lita didn't see. I think his foot was on the rope or something. Okay. Matt didn't, and then so like.
It was a weird, like, I feel like they drop it soon after. How long after this is the draft?
Soon, I think.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like it ends like real. I don't remember this feud going that long.
It took a little bit longer, but they went to the draft soon. Yeah.
I think what they did was they like had this little program where they did this match, and then like it didn't hit so well. Like management wasn't really into it, so they're like, we're just gonna like get rid of it. But it was basically Lita didn't see Matt's foot on the rope, and then Jeff got the win, so then it was like, oh, I didn't know, and then that's why Matt was
them up so much. I feel like Matt was always simping over Lita for something.
The original simp. Oh.
Yeah, that's what it always was, man. The extreme simps. It was just like that.
And Jeff Hardy didn't give a fuck. He had pussy slime.
Yeah, I know. He's like, whatever, dude. Like, I don't like Lita that much.
I don't want your girl anyway. What the fuck? I'm gonna grab Stacey Keebler's butt cheeks.
Yeah, that rule. I always remember that Jeff Hardy joint too.
As King says on this episode, he quotes, "One man's trash is another man's girlfriend."
Yeah, he loved that line too. He laughed at himself when he said that too. Like he really thought he did something. This is
my girl like that, bro. What the fuck?
This is at the point where Jerry Lawler has become a parody of himself. By the way, so he spends the entire show being as misogynistic as possible, just like really diving into the puppies. He just waits around to say puppies, titties, and like he's just really giving it all on the women's. And JR is not having any of it at this point. Which is a weird turn of events later on as JR becomes basically Jerry Lawler on Twitter. It's crazy how that turns out. So I looked it up. The first WWF draft was March of 2002, so it was 3 months after
so it's like
this year.
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense.
It changed everything. The whole show got flipped on its head.
Yeah.
So we start off with Biker Taker and Jeff Hardy. Undertaker, like I said, is the I want respect heel, and Hardy is the I'm gonna bump for you, babyface.
Yeah.
Taker.
Beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, he just mollywhopped Jeff for like 10 minutes. It was.
I feel like it wasn't it short. I feel like in a blink it was like over. Like last ride.
No, wait, the whole segment went about 10 minutes. So.
Oh sure, okay, yeah.
So
the match itself was 3 minutes 58 seconds.
Yeah, he beat him up. Jeff was. It looked like Jeff was waiting around for his comeback spot that never came, and then Taker just pinned him. He just beat him.
Yeah.
So after the match, of course.
Oh my God.
Taker.
Dude, I feel like my girl kind of judged me for how much I was losing it at this
this ruled. This was
like,
crazy.
So fired up.
So Lita during the match looked like she was about to do the 𝓷𝓻⁸ onto Taker in the match, but she slipped and like got off. And Taker was like, "You better chill with that." And she was like, "I will chill with that, actually." And then after the match, Taker was not happy about this at all. So as he's leaving, he decides, hey, I'm going to come back in the ring.
He says, oh, you want to try me? I'm going to whoop that ass. Boy, here we go.
I'll make you famous, son.
Yeah.
So he's going to get back in the ring. He grabs Jeff Hardy, who is, he's knocked out from getting his ass kicked, and takes Jeff over to the stage, power bombs him.
He put him over his shoulder and carried him
like a child,
all the way up the stage,
Hornswoggle style.
Exactly.
Dude, I was like, Jeff's gonna reverse this or Lita's gonna low blow him. Like, they're not just doing this bump to start the show. This man last rides Jeff Hardy off the fucking stage, and I'm losing it.
To be fair,
this is sick.
To be fair, Lita did try to low blow him, but Taker said, "Yeah, you ain't gonna do that."
Yeah, give me that.
Yeah, he said, "Yeah." So she tried to hit the low blow, and then Taker grabbed Lita, and I said, "Oh, here it goes."
And I'm like, okay. No way are they opening the show with 2 people getting thrown off this stage. And he teases it, and he teases it, and he says, yeet! And he chucks her off the stage.
He yeeted her off the stage.
He'd like, not his move, he legitimately just launches her. And they cut to Matt Hardy, and he is shocked in his soup. He cannot believe
and then he starts eating because he's hungry. There's not a lot you can do.
The angles they kept showing for these spots, I was like, dude, this is sweet.
Yeah, this ruled. So that was the opening segment there with Biker Taker and Jeff Hardy, which turned out to be a really fun time. And then we immediately go into what we get with Stone Cold and.
They also showed Matt Hardy on the phone.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, it was nothing. So we're 1 week removed from the Supermarket Brawl, which everybody remembers with Stone Cold and Booker T. That was on SmackDown. So that was on SmackDown this last week.
Sadly, that supermarket does not exist anymore.
Yeah, that got demolished, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so sadly, that's not there anymore. But we get some more fun stuff here with Booker T and Stone Cold, which is weird looking back on it because I remember all this stuff so much. But like I said, I looked it up. So Booker cuts the promo short. They cuts to backstage. Booker's got a pipe in the parking lot. He found the black truck with the Steve Austin skull on it, and he said,
"Oh, this must be yours."
Yeah, he said, "This is good." And then I was like, "What's he gonna punch the glass out?" And they pulled out this pipe, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" Such a natural promo. And he just starts wailing on the truck. And he did. At first, I was like, "Oh, he's going to try to hit the." He tried to hit the side of the truck, and he was like, "Well, that didn't look too good." So he went straight with the glass.
Good. You got to do something.
Yeah. So back in the 2001 Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer, of course, wrote about this. So he was writing. It's weird looking back on this now because he wrote this like on like the 18th of December or something. So like, it was like shortly after. And it's about the what thing that Stone Cold did. And he said this. He said, the what promo thing is really fun for people in the audience, but it makes for super annoying television. And how right was he about that?
20 years later.
And it's still happening. Wow. I don't know. And they start a high-speed pursuit. I'm like,
he sits his ass in the glass, bro. It's dangerous.
Yeah, he don't care. He's Stone Cold. He's got jorts on. They can't cut through that.
He's got jorts on. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why I never realized it. I guess maybe I just never paid attention. But this dude had like tiny little jeans on, bro.
Dude, the knee braces.
He would cut them above the knee braces. Yeah.
It was weird.
That dude rules. Like, yeah, he was just with Daisy Dukes, man. That shit kicked ass.
It throws me off now because I don't. In my head, I remember them just being regular jean shorts, and I look back, I was like, "Oh shit,
no,
man, I saw
dude,
some
they're Daisy Dukes.
This dude had thigh out, bro."
Yeah, dude, you can see his balls.
Cool.
Yeah, dude, and Here Comes the Pain. They got the black shirt with the jorts. That's my favorite attire. It's because he'd have the Daisy Duke jorts on with the black shirt, and I'm like, yeah, these rules.
It was a what shirt, right?
Yeah, it was the what shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Steve Austin chases him outside, and they start a high-speed pursuit, which is this is always WWF and WWE's best television shows are when they have a central theme and then everything else plays around it. Yeah, which is very much a television thing to do, which is when they were making shit for television. And that's the theme of this episode, Stone Cold chasing Booker T and trying to get his hands on Booker T. And then everything else is happening around this happening.
Right.
So that is always the best stuff. I mean...
Which I guess in theory, that could be what they do with the Money in the Bank show, and if they do it right.
Yeah, it should work. You're right. It should, in theory, work, but we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah.
So we get to the match of the evening here with, it's a tag team match. We have Albert and 𝓕𝓐𝓲𝓏𝓏. Yeah.
Hip Hop Hippo, baby.
Yeah, and they're facing off against Team 3D, and they're in a tag team match. And Team 3D...
So that's the Dudley Boyz?
So Team 3D is in a tag team match. And
You're Dudley.
I don't care, man. I know they're called the Dudley Boyz, but Team 3D is always.
I understand.
I love that name.
So I felt like the biggest idiot at this time because I was watching this. I was like, "Oh, Stacy was with them because they got wood, and now
you say Stacy wants boners or something."
Like, she wants the wood, the legs, the wood. I get it. It makes sense.
No, bro,
now,
she was the Duchess of Dudleyville.
Yeah, they just pitched her the cool name, and she said, "Sure."
Yeah.
So Stacy,
she said, "Wear camo, cool."
Yeah, she looks crazy. So Stacy Keibler is the Duchess of Dudleyville. She comes out with Team 3D, which is, I remember this way more than I should. I was definitely a Stacy Keibler guy.
I understand
around
that.
that time.
You know, it's okay to be wrong, and Trish Stratus was there, but that's fine.
Wow, really? So you well, I mean, you know, I guess technically I like Trish, but Stacy was like,
I mean, that's a very
she was on that show, George Lopez, man.
All right, you got me there.
I was saying you're both wrong, and it was Sunny, but you know, go on.
You're a Sunny guy?
Boomer.
No. Boomer, yeah. She was the most downloaded WWF diva of all time. Okay.
It's true.
That
Sunny
I mean, they did
crazy,
say that.
right.
No, she was in. Yeah, she was.
You want our OnlyFans, Tony?
No. This was when I was a kid. Okay, chill.
Yo,
Back in the
don't
day.
listen, bro. You're good.
Yeah.
No.
I get you a Skype, bro.
Whoa, Johnny.
Hey, man, I got you, man.
Back to Team 3D. What
Bro,
you were mad about that for a second,
Yeah.
Johnny? Let's change it up.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Stacy was cool as hell at this time. She was,
got legs, bro. That's
yeah,
cool.
she was involved in a lot of angles. Like Trish was like turned into like a wrestler, but Stacy was just like involved in a bunch of angles.
It is kind of. I mean, maybe I missed something. It is kind of weird how like she doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like she's not like really mentioned ever in any. I mean, she obviously didn't do much like like championship wise or high.
But she was on TV all the time.
She was over as fuck, and when was the last time they showed anything about her on TV ever? Okay.
Yeah, Stacy was Duchess of Dudleyville. Stacy is
that's cool. Yeah.
Cool. They do a kiss spot with Albert and Stacy in this one. Like I said, everything they do here with Stacy is like I said, they can't show a lot.
Her gimmick is everyone wants to fuck her all the time.
Yeah, which is definitely a WWF gimmick from 2001. Yeah, and this is an all-time Jerry Lawler screech, by the way. So the finish of this match was super hot, though. So they hit the 3D, and it's like, it was just super well done. Scotty flips over the ropes. Yeah, Scott flips over the ropes only for Devon waiting. And yeah, you're right, the crowd went crazy. They just they knew it was coming. They see Devon standing there, and they're like, here we go. Yeah,
that was so cool.
Yeah, they were so over, dude. They were so over. So after that, we head over to the next part of the show, which the Christian Taz thing. So
amazing.
Christian is the European champion at this time, right? They're still trying to figure out what to do with all these belts. Yeah, they have a ton of belts going on here. And he's in a feud with Taz.
Was the debut? Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Did they hate Taz at this point? Did WWE not like Taz?
I just don't think they ever got it. Yeah, I don't think they understood.
They still used him though. He was a good hand, but yeah, he just kind of stayed in the mid card. Christian ended up winning pretty quick with a low blow and an Unprettier. Unprettier's
it was a minute and a half is the length of that match.
Yeah, it was super short. The Unprettier is so dope.
Give Taz his heat back by having him put Christian on a Taz mission after.
That's all they did with Taz during this time is he would lose and then lock in the Taz mission. That's literally all they did.
Brother. There was a funny line in this where Booker they're on the phone and Booker says, "I'm at the church, and bingo night.
This was the phone call with Vince on the phone where he's like, it's like a news interview. And
Yeah, you can hear, yeah. And Vince says, while you're there, say a prayer for Stone Cold. I thought that was kind of cool line.
Yeah, and then okay, so he doesn't flip, it's a flip phone, and you can just flip it to turn it off, but he takes it, he like scrambles on the phone to find the end button, and then close it afterwards. So, I actually remember that. We cut backstage to an interview where Hurricane Helms is doing the Clark Kent gimmick, where he's a reporter.
Yes.
But of course, everyone is not like Clark Kent because everyone knows Hurricane Lance Storm comes up and he's like, "What are you doing, dude?" He's with it's the Hurricane having a little interview with Ric Flair backstage.
Lance is fired at this point, right? Technically.
Yeah. So Lance is trying to get his job back with the WWF
Because
after the invasion.
All WCW and ECW people got technically fired when they lost the invasion thing.
They did not pay attention to the storyline very well. Some guys that at the time that were in this angle would just come on TV and wrestle anyways, even though they were fired, and they didn't even mention it. So after we have that little segment with Ric Flair, who then goes off on a little tangent of woo 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 woo, he's going, he's going crazy. We cut because he's later on in the evening. He goes out there with I believe Jericho, right? And
that's which is I thought we'll get to that, but I thought that was kind of paced weird. But in this segment, he says, "All right, you're wrestling fucking Rock, bitch."
Yeah, he said, "Lance Storm, you want your job back? You'll face a Rock." He said, "Okay."
This was like his last chance. He was like, third strike, you're out. If you don't win, you don't have a job.
Yeah.
Yep. Bitch. So after that, we cut to the church where Booker T is hiding at from Stone Cold after the hot pursuit. This is where we see Booker T for the very first time. And he is
playing bingo
with the elderly. Dude, I don't even know if he's hiding at this point. I think he's like, I'm gonna play bingo.
I guess he imagined Austin wouldn't know where he was because Austin would never go to church.
Yeah,
that's true.
That was but then he misunderstood the Austin 316 line then.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Booker's sitting there and he's playing bingo and he's trying to win this game of bingo. He's really, really into this game of bingo.
There's an old lady next to him.
Yeah.
And this lady's like, she has
face and it pans up to Steve Austin out there who has Steve Austin pulled one of the little balls out of the thing. He pulled the little ball out of the spinning thing. And he grabbed it and
spell bingo.
Dude, the craziest smile I've ever seen. Austin smiling at that moment was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Ridiculous.
Booker, of course, just runs out of the room. He runs into this altar. And that's where, so it cuts, we were going to go to commercial. That she said, "Yeah, you need to be quiet." This was so good. And Booker's comedic timing cannot be matched. And we see that later in the evening when he talks about the confessional stuff, when the people start entering the confessional. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So after that, we cut to The Rock and Lance Storm. They had their match for Lance Storm's just job, really. He can work in the WWF if he wins. This was funny as hell. This is really good Rock stuff here. So, and I'm pretty sure he just came up with this. Yeah, I mean, Lance has always been a pretty good worker.
Yeah.
And like when he's in there with someone like The Rock, like they can always. The Rock was just. I swear to God, he just comes up with shit randomly. So The Rock just stops mid-match during this one, grabs the headphones off commentary, just grabs a sheet of paper off the table and starts. He goes. He's just gonna start reading different employment options for Lance Storm when he loses this match.
If The Rock was to employ him, this is what you got to do.
Yeah, he said, here's some different things you can do when you leave the WWF. He said you can sling hash at the Waffle House.
That was a fucking great one.
That was the first one. He said, you can clean up elephant crap at the circus. That was a good one, too. And then he said, or you can go back to getting your monkey ass whipped by The Rock.
His delivery is fucking tremendous.
Yeah, dude. Everyone they had here was so good at comedy, and it was awesome. Yeah. And they were all legitimate badasses, and it was so fun.
I mean, that's the perfect combo, right? Somebody like, I mean, in character, you can still like. I mean, again, I go back to Kurt Angle because I feel like he's
favorite, legendary.
But like Kurt Angle would get fucking dogged on and embarrassed and just made look like a fucking nerd every week, and it was hilarious. But in the ring, you knew this dude was a bad motherfucker, and he could kill you.
Yep.
And that's what I like. A lot of like The Rock is one of those guys. He fucking make you laugh and do bullshit. But in the ring, he's that dude Booker T. Fucking, he's getting chased in a fucking church, and he's playing bingo. But legitimate wrestler. At least if they would have kept it going, he would have been even more legitimized.
Yeah, I definitely think Booker could have been. I think he would. I think he would have been revered as much as like Angle and everybody. If he would have gotten the same shake that all of them had,
They did him and DDP so dirty.
They did DDP hard.
More DDP than Booker, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They did Booker wrong over a long period of time. They did DDP wrong bad like right away, and like he never got a shake at anything. Booker, they dragged him to the shit for a long time. And anyway, so we get Test coming in because Test is what did you say he was, Tony? He's
got immunity. I've got immunity, bro. Like
he can't.
Why did he have immunity? Because
he won a match. And it was for immunity from being fired. So he could never be fired ever for anything ever in the history of ever.
For those that didn't know, he was a defectee. He was actually left Team WWF to join Team Alliance. So that's why he was potentially getting fired, and then he won an immunity match.
Yeah, so for the record, also Test did eventually get fired. So Test,
but he had immunity forever, and wrestling always sticks to that
contract.
Stuff forever. They always stick to their stuff.
So Test interferes in this match, which of course lets Lance Storm get the victory. So Lance Storm has a job.
Victory, yes.
Yep. The Rock, of course, gets his shit back in though. The Rock gets the rock bottom in on Lance.
He teased it like Lance Storm was on the rope, and the Rock's like, he's poised, and the crowd's oh shit, it's coming.
Rock was so good at that,
and he just stops. He's like, shake your hand. Lance Storm shakes his hand. Nah, rock bottom.
he was so good at that.
Yeah,
he was so good at it. So after we get all that, I believe there was a little backstage with. Well, wasn't there a little backstage thing with Test at this point or something?
That was
later. That was later with Michael Cole. So after that, it goes back to the church, and it's in the confessional with Booker T, and they have this setup where this camera is like in between both of the confessionals, which is really, really good stuff here. Booker T obviously has no idea what's going on at first. And this woman walks in, and on the we have a result sheet, right? And what did they write for the woman that walked in?
This says Booker T and one of the hottest chicks ever.
That is the most.
I don't know, bro. Them things were thanging.
A very blessed young lady came into the booth.
That is a very 2001 thing to say. I love it.
Very blessed.
That was very much the audience of WWF at the time. So the hottest chick ever comes to this confessional, and and she is. I mean, she is going wild. Yeah, she's going crazy. I mean, just looking. You know what I mean? And Booker T's in the confessional, and she confesses to adultery.
Yes.
And Booker T,
boyfriend's brother, and another guy.
Yeah, best friend and brother.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Best friend and brother.
Brother.
Brother. And Booker T, of course. Booker T, huge Deadlock guy. The second he heard brother, he perked up immediately. He said, "What's going on over here?" Yeah, he's like, "What's happening over here?" So he perks up immediately, and then Booker T, of course, starts prodding at this because he's real fucking fired up. At this point, yeah.
He said, "You take any Polaroids?"
He said Polaroids. He said,
no, just a videotape. Videotape.
Yeah, he said videotape, and then, but Booker's all timing in this segment, dude. Like he goes, but the videotape. He goes, "Tell me you did not just say that." He goes, "Tell me you did not just say that, my child." I said, "That's my man right there." That was obviously not in the script for this at all, but Booker just destroyed this. I loved it. She asks, "So what do I need to do for my penance?" And Booker says, "You go home, my child. You do 18 Hail Marys."
18 Hail Marys. He just threw a number.
He goes, 18 Hail Marys. And you write down my address. And you send me that videotape.
Send you the tape? Yeah.
My child.
You send me that and all will be forgiven.
And dude, good God, this is an all-time segment.
Please go back and watch this episode. Even if you don't want to watch the wrestling, watch these parts, the Austin Booker T parts. Booker is like
incredible.
Austin is obviously Austin, so that's why it works, because Austin being a badass that he is, and he click. But this is like majority Booker T being awesome.
This rules. He took everything they gave him and just ran with it. He was awesome. This is an all-time segment. So after that, we go to confessional later on in the evening too. But after that, we go back to the ring where Jericho's at. And he's going to come out and cut a promo. He's the undisputed champion.
Baby. I love that shit. I'm going to get my hair like that.
Yeah, he's got the ponytail dyed red. He's clean.
Braided, too.
He's clean-cut babyface Jericho at this point. Later on with the Benoit stuff, I believe, when they start teaming, he started beard and everything. But Yeah, so Jericho, that's when that's like my Jericho look. The hair down, beard with the hockey gear was
the
always
hockey
like,
jersey.
I was like, oh, that's Jericho was so sweet. But I also loved Jericho with the checkerboard pants, baby face, red tip ponytail, like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome too.
Yeah,
Jericho
his gear was pretty nice on this show.
Awesome. Yeah, it was. So Jericho comes out to cut a promo and he said, I'm not facing Rob Van Dam tonight. Yeah, that's right. The main event is fucking Chris Jericho versus Rob Van Dam with I think it was for the titles, right?
It was undisputed title match.
Yes.
Yeah, it was supposed to be for the titles,
segment.
but Jericho was not about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a segment earlier in the night where Vince was like trying to talk to RVD backstage, and then Vince was basically saying, "Oh, I'll be on commentary, and I hope Jericho kicks your ass." So then,
Vince, there's multiple times on this show where I don't know why, but Vince said he didn't say ass. He said I hope he kicks your butt.
Yeah, he said Vince butt.
He said butt multiple times. Like, why can't you say ass on this show?
Dude, in the RVD seg, yeah, he did it like 5 times. Like,
he's basically like, "Hey, Rob, you should, if you win, you could be my friend and we could be partners." And RVD's like, "Yeah, probably not. I don't really like you."
I love that. Yeah, RVD did say that. He said exactly that. He said, eh.
he's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna be Rob Van Dam."
He's like, yeah, Vince goes in, he's like, how you doing, Rob? And he's like, whatever.
Whatever, and cool.
Yeah. I was like, this is
it.
sweet. He's responding like a real person. RVD responded like a real person, so it was cool that he was like that.
Yeah,
And
it's
RVD
like, do you want to hang out with me? Nah, we're cool, man.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And Vince didn't know how to take to that. Yeah, that was a good segment. I'm glad you brought that up. So Jericho comes out to cut a promo. And he said, I'm not facing Rob Van Dam tonight. Ric Flair comes out and he says, fuck you, yes, you are facing him tonight. Jericho
Which at
says,
this point, Flair is co-owner of the WWF.
They're 50-50
yes.
50-50 owners, yes.
we're partners.
Yeah.
That guy's sorting him.
And then the Vince ear pulling spot.
Yeah. We gotta watch that one just so I can do that whole promo. That consortium is me.
Okay, can I want to, there's a weird editor's note on this. I don't understand this.
I don't under. Yeah, he's.
What does it say?
Okay.
It says editor's note. Chris Jericho kind of looks like China when she first started.
What the fuck does that mean?
Cool. Thanks, dude. Thanks, 2001 guy.
Is it the shirt?
I think it's the
I don't
clean
know.
baby
Yeah, the
face. It's the
glimmery
baby
kinda
face
shirt,
chin. It's the baby face chin. China had a defined chin too. Jericho had a really defined chin at this point.
I'm just like, what is this weird edit? Okay, go on.
So Flair comes out and says, fuck you, you are having this match with Rob. Jericho says,
he said also RVD didn't cheat. You fucking brought the ring in the chair in the ring and you got hit with it. That's why it happened.
yeah, so RVD was supposed to have this match with Jericho because he beat Jericho.
On SmackDown.
Yeah, after a chair shot. So Jericho said, you cheated. And he said, no, you brought the chair in. You dumbass, that's on you.
Yeah.
And he says,
Earlier on, Jericho was like, I would never use a chair. Like, what a scumbag
Yeah.
bringing it
And
hitting
then
you
he
with the
says,
chair.
yeah? Well, I'm going to sue you for saying that. What the fuck?
Jericho says, so he's talking to Flair. He says, shut up, old man, you're having a midlife crisis. And then Flair says, I had a midlife crisis 10 years ago when I was fucking your mother. He rips his clothes off and he reveals, I'm the special guest referee for the night, baby.
I wish they had did this promo like just before the match because I thought it was weird. Like, so what? Flair's walking around the building for the rest of the show, the referee shirt on.
He probably didn't have any clothes on. He probably put the clothes back on. He's just walking around the arena. Woo! Woo! Yo, Flair was crazy. And he had, dude, Flair actually looked the best he ever looked probably
He looked great.
in 2001.
Yeah, like this, like you can tell, like at the end of like if you watch like the final Nitro, he looks kind of like beaten down and stuff. And here he looks like a little bit reinvigorated and stuff.
Yeah, dude, his hair was immaculate.
Yeah,
he dressed great. His body was the best it's been in forever. Yeah, he was definitely juicing. He was looking good. So we get all that. Of course, we get Rob Van Dam and Chris Jericho with Ric Flair as a special guest referee in the main event.
Yes.
After that, we get Edge. That's right. Yeah, my ring.
Yeah, I'm glad they kept. I'm surprised that wasn't dubbed, honestly.
Yeah, that's on rules. It's like kicks ass. Edge comes out with a lug shirt on.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I was like, oh, okay.
That was put me right into the time period, so I appreciated it.
I saw the lug shirt. I'm like, okay, so he don't care what he's doing tonight.
Dude, yeah, it's Edge and Rikishi, Rikishi's all, fat ass and everyone loves him. He's sweaty and stuff. Kurt comes out and I'm like, this song's like slowed down the intro to the song. And then it's like it's like a remix of the regular song. I'm like, whoa, what the I don't, for some reason, had like no recollection of this song.
Me neither. I didn't know what it was. They must have only used this very shortly.
I feel like he only used it for like a couple weeks. It's on the Anthology CD, and there's 2 versions of it. One was on Anthology, and then recently one of the Uncaged had like the other version, like a subtle change.
When was the You Suck stuff with Edge?
That was like the next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pushing Edge hard here.
Yeah.
So he's teaming with Rikishi. They play a video package of Rikishi putting on a little hat and making Kurt Angle eat his ass. That's
Damn,
like,
I wish that were me.
Yeah, that's some like peak Rikishi stuff. That's my favorite. When he puts on little garments and then makes you eat his ass. That rules, man. Here's a little hat, here's little glasses. Like, yeah, I like that. Rikishi immediately goes for the double stink face in his match. I'm like, the psychology is the next level. I'm like, you're right. Rikishi would try to put his ass in their face. I love it.
Yeah, everybody fitting that thing.
Yeah, but Angle comes out of the corner. Rikishi hits a Rikishi bump off the clothesline that Angle throws.
Of course he does.
Yeah, of course he does. But I'll be honest with you, man. I actually like Rikishi bumping him because to me.
No, I love that Rikishi. I liked it when Rikishi did it. I liked it when Billy Gunn did it.
Yeah, there's the only 2 you can do it. Everybody else stop doing it. You're not Rikishi, not Billy Gunn.
Yeah,
if you don't have, if your gimmick isn't something to do with ass cheeks, don't do this.
Yeah, Stacy, take that bump all you want.
Yeah, please. So quick match here. Kurt ends up pinning Edge. The Rock comes down to beat up Test from the earlier shit. Yeah, and then Rikishi puts his ass in Test's face.
You gotta give the people what
Somebody
they want.
is gonna get this ass. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. That was a fun segment. Edge in the load shirt was funny.
After this is what the Cole Test interview.
Was it? Oh, okay, I think they played the Triple H promo before this.
Oh, the U2 John, yeah.
It's a beautiful
But it wasn't
day.
YouTube.
It was not. It was supposed to be YouTube, but yeah.
Yeah, but I paused and went to YouTube and watched it.
In my head, it was U2. Yes.
Yeah, they I cannot believe they dubbed that over. I'm like, come on.
That shit was awesome.
YouTube must want some crazy rights.
Is that like thinking of that U2 stuff? Triple H was supposed to be at Vengeance in that match instead of Jericho. Apparently, he was on the poster of the Vengeance thing. Rumor has it through the lore is that he blew his stuff out. Rumor has it that it was supposed to be H instead of Jericho as the champion, but we never know what actually was really going to happen.
I also feel like I heard that they were like the Jericho decision was like day of shit. Like I think it was going to be Kurt. Honestly, I think Kurt was going to be the guy because whatever, and that would have probably been fine. But Vince said, "Fucking strap this fucking rocket to Jericho. Let's see what he can do."
It wasn't. So. After we do the Triple H, it's a beautiful day.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Test he shows Test the stink face again, and Test says, "I got immunity, motherfucker. I can beat the shit out of you if I want to." And then I'm
so
like, "Oh
funny.
shit, cool. Cole's gonna get fucked up right here." And he does like the worst like shove ever. Like,
Test he seemed confused, man.
Yeah, Cole just falls over.
He was like bumbling over his lines too. He's like, "You know what, Michael Cole? I got immunity. You know what? You need a beating." It was like the weirdest.
Yeah, it sounded. It's like, oh no, man. Tess is actually the nicest.
He was pretending to be a tough guy.
Yeah, Tess is like the nicest dude ever, man. That's probably why, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, that's probably why I didn't deliver. And I was like, damn, he was nice. So Tess is not Tess was not ready to be that kind of guy to Michael Cole because I have a feeling they're friends. I'm sure he was.
Probably. Honestly.
Yeah, he was not. So after that awkward segment with Michael Cole, we cut back to the ring. Well, it's the man.
Double
my man's coming through.
Double strap, no titty showing. For
this
is
actually he hadn't. What was the episode we watched this match in 2003? That's where things started falling off the rails for Big Show.
Yeah, big time. But he was big motherfucker here still. Though.
2003 was actually okay because he was still running the Brock thing and they were pushing him really hard. 2005, Big Show was like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
That was rough. But Big Show at this point was he would team with Tajiri and they faced off against Billy and Chuck.
And this is like pre "You Look So Good to Me" theme song. This is like they must have just started teaming. They had matching gear, but Palumbo still has the long dark hair, and Billy Gunn's still the one. But like this is pre Rico and any insinuations of their friendship. They were just a tag team, which was
Billy
weird.
looks exactly the same right now. Chuck Palumbo also was a stud. That dude was crazy.
Yeah, I feel like he looked good, but I feel like every time I watch a Chuck Palumbo match, I'm like, I don't think I like this guy. I don't like. He never does anything.
Sean O'Haire was definitely
absolutely
better, but
so
Chuck
was Mark
was cool.
Jindrak. Yeah, like and all. Yeah, Palumbo was just
He was a stud.
And he threw a punch. It was a good punch.
But so Tajiri has the WCW Cruiserweight title, and it dawned on me so much here that this title looks so much better than the WWF Light Heavyweight joint.
Yeah.
It looks so much better than the Cruiserweight joint.
I guess, I mean, I'm assuming because they lost the invasion, they did call it the WWF Cruiserweight title here.
Yeah, it was the WCW
it was the WCW one, but like, I wish I could have got a shot, but I imagine, do you think it still had the WCW plates on it? Like
it did. The side plates were still WCW.
Yeah. Okay.
WCW's side plates were always a lot different than WWF ones.
Yeah.
Here they had the the WCW. No one ever talked. Everyone always talks about the big gold, but the belts that WCW had, like full stop, were always just really interesting looking belts. The women's joint was built a lot like the
tag titles. They were
joint.
Small, but they looked cool. They looked pretty cool.
Yeah, the way they did side plates was cool. I loved because most of the time if they put WCW on the side plates, it was in like stark red, so it would always look really hot against like a gold or a blue. Which WWE did a lot too with their championships. Like the tag team joint had the world on the blue globe. Like that will never not look good. Like that is such like a legendary design.
It is, yeah. I kind of miss how the WCW US title looked. I thought it looked really cool.
It really did. I think the hardcore title for WCW was whack.
Yeah, that was just kind of a thing, right? It wasn't like really.
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
That was just I don't think they even cared about that, and it was just
but yeah, a lot of their belts actually look really, really good. Tag team joints are hot too. But anyways, they do a bunch of bullshit in this match. It was Big Show and Tajiri versus Billy and Chuck. I mean, I was just saying whatever.
There's a spot, like the finished spot here is, they're doing shit, and Tajiri's going for like the handspring back elbow, and in the middle of it, Tori just gets up on the apron and takes a kick to the face. What the fuck was she doing?
Yeah, because Tajiri and Tori Wilson were having sex at this point.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, I mean, good for her.
And Jerry Lawler is just on commentary. Just no clue.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, like. What? She just takes this fucking kick, and like Tajiri is like, oh no, and then fucking Billy Gunn hits him. Was he hit him with the famous or the one and only?
No, flapjack. A flapjack.
Yeah, it was a flapjack. Yeah.
He wins with a flapjack.
Oh god, I guess I already tried to erase that in my.
I don't even think Big Show ever did one move in this match, did he?
I don't think so either. I don't think he did even tag in.
He didn't do anything. He was out there the whole time.
Yeah, Tori Wilson just completely blew it for Tajiri, and she's like, sorry. He's like, well, Tajiri can't speak English, so I don't know. You can't really like talk to him or anything right here. So after that, we cut back to the church. Booker T is still in the confessional and is starting to beat him up. Like he's like, I don't want to be here no more. And he's listening to these dudes talking. Like this dude's in there. He's just a nerd ass, loser ass dude, right?
Yeah, he said, I ate dessert last week.
Yeah, and Booker's like, I don't care, man, dude.
He said, I had one shot of alcohol.
He said, you haven't been doing anything? He said, no. He said, you haven't had any of the ganja?
They said marijuana. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
He said, get the hell out of here. Get out of my office.
I want to see like all the outtakes where like none of it made it and Booker was just like interviewing all these random people.
Oh my god, outtakes
I'm sure they did a lot.
Amazing.
But after this dude, of course, Stone Cold's here. What?
They do another one of those pans where they pan to Booker and then he's talking and then
he says, "You got anything you want to confess?" And Austin says, "Not yet."
He says, "Not yet," but yeah, dude, this whole thing ruled. It was so good. God, that what thing though, man? In the confessional, what? I'm like, oh my god.
And Booker fucking flies out of there. Austin chases them through the church. Yeah. They're running in the back. They run into some nuns.
Chases them out of the confessional. Yeah, this ruled.
Yeah,
this was awesome. So we don't learn the ending of this.
No, I think
he's still chasing them after the show goes off the air.
Yeah, Booker runs away, and someone asked. I think a minister asked Austin if he wanted to take a confession.
So after we do that, we get back to the WWF where we have our main event of the evening, which is Chris Jericho and Rob Van Dam with Ric Flair as a special guest referee. That's a hell of a main event. They
did a little foreshadowing before this, where Flair was asking RVD if he'd ever consider using the figure 4.
No.
Ooh.
No, dude.
But he does end up using it, I guess.
He just says,
he does end up using it, though, yeah.
He does end up using it. Yeah, he goes, whatever, dude.
I heard Booker talk about the ganja. Can we get back to that?
Yeah. I mean, he perked up. RVD's theme here rules. Oh, my God. All right, so, like, I love One of a Kind, but oh my god, that initial one.
I feel the same way about Batista and his original music.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I love
yeah,
the Saliva John's awesome, but like the original one, like, yeah, that shit is awesome.
Maybe because this is the one he had in Here Comes the Pain, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think this is the one. So like, I played with RVD. Everyone played with RVD a ton because he just played so much different.
Because you could do the 5-star off the pod, bro.
You could do, you could do and like all his moves had like the kick, and he'd roll through, and like, yeah, he ruled, man. And he was like one of the only guys that you could like frog jump up to the top of the turnbuckle too. So that was awesome. RVD at the time was unfucking believable. You know, people remember RVD for whatever reason they want to remember RVD. But for one reason you should remember him is because nobody was like this dude at this time. He was literally like one of a kind. Was not just a gimmick. He literally was one of a kind. Like he was the only guy working like this.
It's crazy how over he was, and how like obviously we know what we know now, that he doesn't win the fucking title like until like so long after this.
4 years later, 5 years later.
They could have easily given him the belt, like even give him a mini run during this. Like he easily could have beat Austin for the belt.
There were so many guys that could have. RVD, Booker. There were so many guys that could have pulled the trigger with.
Absolutely.
And I think that hurt him in the long run, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
Because they tried to stick with a lot of these dudes. Rock was.
They say, hey, we already got these stars. Why make new ones?
Yeah, Rock was doing Scorpion King, I think, around this time. Steve Austin wasn't here for much longer. I mean, Brock comes in, but like they floundered so many of these dudes for so long that like, you know, RVD just became the Intercontinental guy, and Booker just, Booker, what did he do? Tag team Goldust?
Tag title with Goldust, and then,
dude, he just hung out.
IC title stuff.
Yeah. Fuck, man. God.
You do U.S. title stuff too?
That was like later, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, this match was good. I mean, it was just really good.
Yeah,
a fast-paced 10-minute match here.
They did all their stuff. It was good.
Yeah, everyone got their shit in, and like there's a sense of urgency here. And
Vince on commentary is fucking great. He's just accusing Flair of doing slow counts and saying he's doing all kinds of illegal shit.
Was it weird to see Flair coming down to the ring just walking, not strutting? He was just casually walking as fast as he could.
Still got the rev shirt on, of course.
Yeah, that ruled. At the end, Vince comes in to break up RVD, pinning Jericho. He would have beat him. RVD had him pinned after the frog splash, and Jericho would have lost. Which is like always a really good way to like. It's just a really good way to have a face on a heel. You know, I think that's a really good storytelling thing. Yeah. So he comes in the ring to break up the pin or whatever. Rick chops the shit out of him.
Yeah, like instead of like, you know, usually when you're getting a confrontation with somebody, you're like, oh shit, they're gonna, you know, throw punches. Flair winds up and chops him.
Then Jericho and Vince are out on the floor, and they both do stereo figure fours on both of them. The ending was rushed all to hell. They obviously ran out of time, and like I think the match ran a little long, and then like Vince was like, "Oh fuck!" So he got off the mic real quick.
Vince sold this fucking figure four so great. He's like,
yeah. Vince ruled.
Tremendous.
Yeah, he was a great on-screen guy. Buy the shirt.
True. So this Friday, baby.
Yeah. This was a really good episode of Raw.
One and
done, brother.
Also, we have, as we said earlier on, the $5 Patreon video is up. You can do a watch along with us. We're still trying to get the $10 John Ski to watch live with you guys. So we're going to get there. Leave your reviews still. Those reviews help us a lot. Get us up the fucking charts and stuff so we can bring more homies to hang out and listen to all of our shit with us. And want to be a nice, happy family. So thanks for everything, guys.
Yep, Stanford Hardcore shirt coming out May 8th.
Yes.
Be sure to look out for that. And we will check you guys out next week. See you guys then.